I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is all the mods 10 to the sky. Oh boy, here we go again with another all the mods 10 to the sky video. And yes, today I do plan on expanding our applied energistics infrastructure, but that's just one of many things that we're going to be working on today. Now, right off the start, I do want to mention a few things, and one of those things is that in this current update that I am in now, directly after the episode I just did, there was an update that kind of changed the way the Manhattan module works, or at least right now. This may be fixed in the future, but the explosion is going to be much smaller as of right now. Yes, as the config has been changed. Just to keep that in mind if you were wondering why last episode, the massive explosion wasn't explosioning. If you wanted to fix that in your single player world, well, all you would simply have to do is just go into the config for Auratech and change it from boring mode to normal mode. Yeah, that's all you have to do. And like, I'm not even joking. The mode that it is called is boring mode. Like, it's so funny. Now let's dive back into what I was working on last episode, and that was to work towards making the infinity cells. And infinity cells, they do require quite a lot. And the resources behind them, honestly, not the hardest part to gather. I would have to say that making this 256M mega storage component is quite a lot. This right here is the thing that takes a while to craft, and it requires a ton of resources. So if we look up this 256 and we go to craft it, we can see that we are missing a lot of components. Actually, my Certus has now built up, and I have, I think, enough of that. But we do need Skysteel blocks. That's not a thing. But just take a look at all of the individual block recipes and things that are required to make this. 19,000 gold, 88,000 Certus quartz crystals, 12,000 Certus quartz dust. There's a lot that is required to get this up and running. Now, since today I am going to get myself an unlimited lava infinity cell, what would you want to see as an obtainable infinity cell that maybe doesn't already exist in this pack? Let me know down in the comments below. So Steve, yeah, you're looking mighty fine over there. Yeah, hope things are well. Now, the resources I'm still working on, for example, I should definitely upgrade this so we can generate significantly more cobblestone, because right now my setup, even if I was to upgrade them like I have, it's just not going to be able to keep up with the cobblestone demand. So we need to take that and get this upgraded to as high as we possibly can get it upgraded. For example, water, let's grab that. If I can grab the water, oh, I'm out of buckets. Let's throw the buckets in there. There we go. But yes, getting the cobblestone generator upgraded as high as it can go will be the best solution here, for at least generating things like, I don't know, like the Certus dust, right? I really need a lot of Certus dust, so having this also running at full speed would be a good idea. But that's not even the hardest part. And there's a thing I want to solve today, and that is the consistency of crafting all of these circuits. Because if we just simply request craft this, it's going to take a while. Even if we optimize our solutions and make it go really fast, it's still going to take a long time. And so I want to come up with a way to just passively have circuits from Applied Energistics automatically crafting, at least the primary ones. Logic is going to be one of the biggest ones that's going to take the longest amount of time, because we just simply need a significant amount of logics per craft. Just taking a dive into this, how many logics are we going to need? 19,000 printed logic circuits, right? 9,000 calculation circuits for this. So all of these, if we can kind of get them passively generating, this won't be as big of an issue. There's also another issue that we are going to encounter, and that is the fact that, well, we are going to need a much larger capacity for our storage. So I think what I'm going to do over here, just be able to make sure that this works for at least crafting 2 of them, is be able to set this up. And so now with that alone, it should say, hey, we have the ability to at least craft this thing. As you can see, it requires a lot of bytes. And yeah, we have to make sure we can support those bytes, and just one 256K is not going to do that. However, I'm going to go over here and just upgrade all of these. And then I went ahead and added even more coprocessors in the back, especially now that we have a lot more things that are just being passively auto-crafted in the background. Eventually, I'm going to get this all set up. We're going to have all kinds of fun stuff going on, especially the thing from Extended Crafting that allows us to pretty much remove all of these pattern providers and have our own system for that. And then also the quantum computer, which is a thing in itself. But I do want to get this set up first because it's going to make that process easier as well. Now, I think up here is where I want to set this up, and I kind of want it to be connected directly to this setup. and it's going to go right down below. And I think right in the center would look kind of nice. And we can also get all of our cabling, connected here in the middle, and then maybe add multiple setups for these. But we need to take gold, for example, and we need to start processing down all of those sheets. And we're also going to need quite a lot of silicon. And we are getting silicon, by the way, from upstairs. I guess I could be using my elevator from upstairs. So if you didn't know how I'm getting all of the silicon, this right here is the method, and it is generating quite a lot. And I think this is going to be able to support currently what we're working on. At least I hope so. If not, we can easily make more, but there's 100,000 blocks in here already. But see, industrial foregoing. I told you it's worth getting into. You're going to want to get this stuff set up because this is going to really, really help you in this situation alone. And believe me, you're going to want these unlimited drives, especially the lava one. So now here's my thinking as far as making these circuits. I'm going to grab some cables, right? And I'm going to branch off of here. Let's just craft a few of those. I'm going to branch off of here, and I'm going to be sending this to a circuit slicer and a crystal assembler for right now. Now, I may have to adjust this if this isn't fast enough, but I think I want this to be housed right here on this wall. So the way that I want to do this, let's grab a barrel or a functional storage drawer, actually, because I actually want to house this in a functional storage drawer. I want to have this be the block that our crystal assembler resides on. Okay, and then I think I want to have this turn because I want it to deposit. So the best way to turn it is to probably use the network tool. Can we use this as a wrench? I mean, I guess it kind of works as a wrench, just doesn't rotate things. Okay, so we'll grab the pipes wrench because that one I do know will rotate. And perfect. So we have that rotated. And then on the sides, I want the circuit slicers to be over here. I've got to figure out what format works best for these. Because I want to make sure that they can receive the power, receive the items, and then also automatically send those items into the crystal assembler. This is going to be pretty important for what we're going to be working on. Now, good to know this is functioning like I would hope. And then on the bottom, I actually want to enable this to send to this barrel, not this one. I want it to send to this right here. This is going to be the output side. And then for these machines, we actually want to make sure the output side is defined as the crystal assembler. And so I can just use my AE cables and I should be able to export the products that are required. For example, we need redstone to go into here, and we're also going to need the individual materials to go into here, right? We need gold in one. That's going to make the circuits. And then we also are also going to be required of the printed silicon. So we also have to get that going as well. So you know what? I'm thinking a slime block here, interface right here. And this is where we can define those products, right? So redstone is one of the things that we need to have constantly being sent. So we can say, hey, just keep a stack of redstone in here, just like that. Once we have it connected, of course, this will end up working. So there we go. And if all turns on, it should connect up. At least I hope so. I did connect this up, right? Yeah, it's online. Ah, there we go. It just took a hot minute for it to decide it wanted to work. Okay, I'm going to break this in the center. But yes, we have one interface. And the reason I want this interface is so that way I can regulate the amount of redstone that goes in here. We'll talk about that here in a second. Now, I can just use any sort of pipe. Doesn't really matter. We can actually use a logistic pipe. I think that'd be the most optimized possibly for mechanism. Doesn't even have to be fast. I'm going to say like an advanced logistical transporter, like even of that tier might be able to keep up. We might have to upgrade it if not, but we will need the configurator for this. So I'll take my configurator, set that to pull. Right now it's sending redstone. This where we, maybe we actually do need to filter this. I'm kind of surprised that redstone goes in here. I'm hoping though, that the items that flood in here, it'll be fast enough to constantly keep a supply of them, and we may not have to worry about this, but I guess we can give this a shot anyways. Now, something I don't have constantly crafted is gold blocks, but I do have a craft for that, and that means that I can use a crafting card in here to keep gold blocks constantly crafted and in stock. So let's set that to 64. Just to make sure it always has that supply in there. And then we'll make sure this is in 64 and we always have that. Doesn't even have to be crafted. Okay, so before I get any upgrades in here, I'm going to take this out, swap that redstone, and hope that it will keep this in stock instead of redstone, because we don't really need that working there. So now the goal is it will craft that, it'll send those into here, and then this is going to craft up. But what we do need to also do is, like I said, regulate that redstone. So let's grab a way to do that. And I think one of the best ways to do this would possibly be with industrial foregoing. So industrial foregoing has a way to regulate items, and that is through the item transporters. These are pretty good. They work very similar to this that we actually used a little while ago. These item translocators. This is sort of like a newer updated version of those. And this is why I was kind of surprised that both of these mods were in here, considering this does a really good job of this very thing. And by the way, they can be upgraded. So if we place them right here, we do want to make sure that these are disconnected, even though I don't think they're going to be causing a problem. I just want them to not be visually connected. And we need to go into the filter settings in here. So let's grab the redstone. And I want to say keep 8 in stock. So to do this, we need to hit the regulate mode. And that's really all we're going to need to do, right? This is going to only keep 8 of them inside of this machine. And so as soon as I do this, well, it's going to start sending things we don't want. So that's where we should probably whitelist, or at least whitelist on this side, and make sure that the redstone is the only thing. This one we could probably get rid of. And there we go. So now it's only going to keep 8 inside, and that will allow things to be processed up. And that should keep a constant supply in this. Now, once we accelerate this, we're really going to find out if this is going to be broken or not. So are we going to need to upgrade this to be able to keep up? Well, let's throw in some speed upgrades and we're going to find out. So is the pipes able to keep up with sending the items? Okay, so this looks like it is. Is it able to keep the redstone in here? Okay, that also looks like it's kind of keeping up, but it's definitely a little slower. So what we can do for this is we can add like some speed upgrades, and we can add that directly in to this. You, I believe, shift right click. Maybe it is, oh, it goes actually in here. Oh, so it now has a GUI. Before it did not. So now it does. That's beautiful. So now, yeah, we can put the upgrades in here. You can get rid of your JEI by hitting Control and O, and you can see that a whole lot clearer. And just that one speed upgrade alone has definitely made that a lot faster, as you can see. But I mean, judging by this, it does appear like the assembler is the thing that can't keep up. And I bet it's going to be the point where we would need 3 crystal assemblers or so. This does a 4 per operation, where this is doing 9 per operation. So you need close to 3 of these assemblers to be able to fully keep up. Well, you would need 3, but the third one would definitely be lacking. It wouldn't be working full speed. But this right here, we could probably change to make it more efficient, but already we have 1.4 thousand built up. I don't even know if I need more than this setup alone. You know what? I think to make this even more compact, we might be able to split up the piping here, so that way we can have multiple within this same block space. And we could do something like this, where we get rid of these. Well, that picked up an upgrade card. Yeah, we do something like this. I picked up another upgrade card. There we go. And then we set that to extract. And that should split all of our products. And this will probably still be just fine keeping up. Oh man, this is turned out way better than I thought. And this is producing, I mean, we're already at 4,000 in like a blink of an eye. Like, I really feel like this is probably more than I will need while I'm working on other projects. I'll come back and there'll be like 52,000 plus in here in each craft. I mean, honestly, how many of those drives am I really going to need? Probably not a lot. There are a lot of unlimited drives that, you know, we could go for. But I mean, as I continue playing through here, this is going to be probably one of the best passive ways of just constantly generating these circuits. And yeah, we have plenty of gold to be able to handle this. Like, I don't think gold is going to be a problem here. Something I will note, I bet even with as slow as this is running, I bet even a regular pipe that doesn't even have an upgrade from the pipes mod would easily be able to keep up with this setup. So here we go. On the other side, I have basically the same setup going. And I have it regulating the redstone just like I do on this side, basically the exact same process. However, we're doing Certus quartz here, which is going up to allow us to make the calculation processors. And that just goes right down here, as you can see. So let's get these accelerated up. Let's get the items constantly being sent to them, just like that. Inside of here, we can drop in the accelerators. I don't know what button I clicked there, but there we go. Oh, I'm clicking the sort button. Perfect. And Voila, these are now also producing incredibly fast. So now I've started decorating just a little bit. I got a bit more of the iron in here, making this look like it is being held up big and strong here. But we still have one thing we haven't done. We haven't hooked this to our Planet Energistics system yet. So I do need to lock this. And thankfully, this is still within range of our other controller that's up here. That is just how big this area is. And we don't even have netherite upgrades in it. So yeah, it's still controllable, and just about any drawer we ever place inside of our base can be handled and immediately added just like this, making easy access to our applied energistics system. Like, it is just so nice to be able to do that. I still think using functional storage drawers with that range upgrade is just a fantastic way of having nice little modular setups. And then inside of those modular setups, you have an output, and those outputs are where we can hook up the final product to keep them passively running, just like this. It's so nice. So now already I have just about enough, I think, of all of this stuff, and it looks like I do have everything ready to go. Now, I think my biggest problem is just going to be handling all of the auto crafting. I could have a little bit of a bonus if I did add a few more co-processing units to the ones that have the maxed out storage here. But I'm going to go ahead and see how it does with just using 8 of them. And let's go ahead and try this, because we already have the ability to craft one of the 256, and all of the stuff is ready to go. We have 19,000 logic processors ready to go. This is going to be a pretty large craft. 19,000 1K storage components is quite huge. And thankfully we have all of the glass to be able to handle all of this. So this should be as easy as hitting start. And once we do this, we'll be able to start to see how long it thinks it's going to take. And so it is thinking that it's going to take about 6 minutes. So considering this can take upwards to several hours to actually craft, I don't think this is going to be that bad, honestly. Yeah, look at the crafting percentage just skyrocket here. So yeah, we're looking at something that might take you 5 minutes to actually craft. And that's because we don't have these passively being generated. If we had these passively being generated, this would be significantly faster. But just that alone cut back so much time. In all the mods 10, whenever I did this craft, each time I would craft it, it would take just about 40 to 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes, give or take. And just with this alone, cutting the crafting process out of there, it's so much quicker. And once we have like the assembler setup, the matrix, this would happen almost instantaneously, because all of these crafting processes would just be like completed at the snap of a finger. It was a little bit longer than I was expecting, but honestly, so much shorter than in prior crafts. We're looking at about 12 minutes to craft this thing up. So we just hit the 12-minute mark, and once it finishes the 1Ks, everything else just happens almost instantaneously. You're going to notice that here in a second. But yeah, we're looking at like quite literally about 12 minutes, give or take. And that now it's done. So that is pretty decent. 12 minutes to craft such an insane thing is not too bad at all. And by the way, this now means we have unlimited lava. Like, we are at unlimited lava, by the way. All I have to do now is take this storage component and just turn it into an unlimited lava cell, just like this, which I am definitely going to do, by the way. So now we have absolutely unlimited lava. Fantastic. Now I also want to do one for cobblestone. Cobblestone is also going to be very, very powerful for us as well in this pack. But at this point now we have an unlimited source of lava for multiple different things. But there is something that I really want to get it up and running for, and that is this obsidian right here. And if you remember all of our work towards industrial foregoing, well, if we pop back up here to take a quick look at it, down here I left a spot so that way I could hook this up and we can have water and lava flowing in here to generate that obsidian. So we have that constantly going, because that is going to be a pretty challenging thing to get my hands on. And so I definitely want to make sure that I can get it in that way. So we're going to work on that here in a second, but I do want to talk about some stuff that I want to work on and work towards in the future. And that is, how do we speed this up even further and make our crafts happen instantly? Well, we could get away with the quantum crafter. Now, this is something that I might end up doing before setting up the quantum computer, and the quantum crafter is quite the machine, I should say. You put the pattern in here, and then you set the values that you want to keep. And so in our case, I would keep like 20,000 in stock of the first craft, and that would significantly speed this up because the quantum crafter can quite literally instacraft like all 20,000 in like a blink of an eye. Like it would happen that fast, and it all happens within one block. So yes, that would have been a much better way to have done that, but I don't have all of that advanced AE auto crafting set up just yet, but it's actually within reach. Like all of this stuff, we could technically build a quantum computer already. Should we do that? We should definitely make a quantum computer soon. Oh, but I'm getting ahead of myself. I shouldn't be doing that. Let's talk about how we're actually going to get the fluids to this. So I am going to need to branch over some cables, and that is going to have to attach directly to this, and we are going to want to send infinite fluids to this. Oh boy. Now back in my drive system, the drive that we have set to a higher priority is probably the one that I want the cell to be set into. So for right now, this is the same one that we have our mega disk that is storing all of our totems of undying. But we can just place this infinity lava cell in here now, and you see we now have infinite lava, and I can just simply pull a bucket out. This also means we can export out of here as well, and that's what we need to get done. Before we get everything going, let's set this to obsidian. You can see right here it needs lava and water, and it's going to consume the lava. So we shouldn't need to put extra water in here. We should just put a single bucket, and then we just need to constantly export lava into this. But I do want this crafting 3x3, 3x3, and we continue the 3x3, and then on here we will pull out, after we get at least one, we can throw that compressed into here, and yeah, then we can just quite literally just use the single upgrade to make this really simple. So I am going to use an extended export bus on here for the lava, and I'm hoping that the extended will allow me to accelerate this fast enough to keep up whenever we have the max upgrades in here. So let's take water. We put the water in here. That should be all it needs to craft the first obsidian. And now we get to craft all of the upgrades for this, by the way. So tier 8s, let's get to crafting all the tier 8s so we can max this bad boy out. Now, honestly, if you were speed running this, which I do know a lot of people love to speed run packs like this, I'm kind of taking my time and demonstrating a lot of cool ways you can automate things. But if you were to speed run these, you would probably want more than one of these actively functioning. I mean, I'm going to be playing for a while, so I know that, you know, stuff like this is going to be able to generate for quite a while, and I'm not super worried about that. So yeah, in situations like this, you would probably double up, triple up, quadruple up, you know, quintuple, the 64 of them. You can get out of hand with this. So yes, let's pull all of these upgrades out, and let's get a little out of hand here. So can we keep up? Now, I don't have any acceleration upgrades just yet in here, so this isn't keeping up. You can see the lava spitting in, but the AE is ramping up, trying to keep up. Let's go ahead and let's adjust this a little bit. Can this now keep up? Okay, so I mean, it's going pretty fast. I'm hoping at some point it just keeps it constantly filled with fluid. Like, will it? If not, we may need some sort of better buffer that can constantly keep the fluid in a filled state in here. But I mean, right now it's flickering, which doesn't seem to be generating a super ton amount. I mean, it is generating a lot, but it probably could be better. And you know what? I was thinking there might be a mod in here that could allow us to transfer fluids very quickly and possibly keep this forever in stock. And that little mod is integrated tunnels, which is the add-on for integrated dynamics. So to do this, we just simply need a little bit of stuff from integrated. I mean, I'm pretty sure I still have quite a bit of this from earlier episodes. So yes, a regular exporter, and we need a fluid interface for this, a fluid exporter, and we're also going to need a card and a little bit of help from a logistical cable, and not much more than a variable card. Honestly, this is really all we need, and an interface instead of the exporter. Now let's see, lava, we can store you here, but how much can I have stored in here? 64, that's too much. I mean, can we do even more than one? 16, like what is too much? 8, 4, 5? So we can't have more than 4 buckets in this particular slot. So that should be more than enough. And I'm hoping that this can keep up. I'm assuming it'll just be able to instantly keep that filled. But if not, this may not work. Okay, so what I'm going to do with the integrated tunnels, the fluid interface is going to detect this and basically call it its storage or its tank that it's going to interact from. And then we have an exporter, which is going to export from its network, which is its tank, which is this interface right here. So the exporter is going to export from whatever the interface is connected to. We're going to slap that down here. And then we're going to slap on a logistical cable that is going to go in between. And this is going to connect these two to each other. And then all we have to do, you don't need to know anything fancy about this. We just simply want to export all fluids. And that is going to send lava in automatically. Now notice it is already very, very fast, about as fast, way faster than what we were seeing earlier. And that's on its default settings. Now, if we go into here, we can actually up the transfer rate by clicking that little plus button under the properties, going over to a tab, and we can go over to the fluid transfer rate. And by default, it is 1 bucket every tick. But we can change this until it caps out. And we get a transfer rate of what is this? 999,999,999 millibuckets every tick, right? And when we back out of this, it's just going to say constantly filled. Like it's not flickering anymore at all. It is just going to be forever being filled. That is exactly what I want. This, however, is flickering. This AE is really struggling right now. Now, I don't know if this is optimal for servers. I really doubt it is, but it does work and it is so good. Honestly, if you're playing on a server, just leave it at its default of 1000. I mean, this is very fast. I mean, it's very quick. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, right now, this is only providing 4 buckets. So I just set it to 4. And this is doing the exact same as it was when we maxed it out. However, use these principles in other things. For example, if you're using a fusion reactor, you're setting that up, you need to send water. This right here can send so much water to a fusion reactor. And so these little things right here, this little amount of knowledge could really help you in other setups that you might have in the future. Because you can use this for infinite water too. What a little hidden gem of a mod there. Integrated dynamics and tunnels. It's fantastic. Oh, and there's so many more things you can do with that mod. Trust me, it has world interactions. Oh, don't even get me started. And looky there, we already have a 4 times obsidian block, which is what I want to get stored in here. Puller upgrade. We're going to set to pull from the upside. And now anytime that gets generated, it will instantly go into here. And we can always downcraft for more obsidian if we need. But there we go. That pretty much solves this problem. It's just going to generate over time. I mean, the big goal though would be get to like ×6, because I think the next tier on the ×6 is what gives you the ability to craft the unlimited disc, I think. May even be tier 4. I don't know. Oh, interesting. Out of all of the unlimited cells or the infinity cells, I actually don't see one specifically for obsidian. Yeah, there's one for all the dyes though, oddly enough. Huh. Do you know what? I would call today a pretty successful day. Like, we ended up like significantly cutting down the amount of time needed to craft such a container. And I tell you what, those crafts take a very long time. I think so. Peeps on the Discord while I was hanging out in there were saying that for them, with this setup right here, like just one circuit slicer and assembler, it took them like over 2 hours to generate just a single one. And we can generate it in about 12 minutes. And that's before we even get into any advanced crafting. So definitely, if you have the ability to, cut circuits out of your life by just simply passively crafting them like this. Put these crystal assemblers and circuit slicers to the test. It's very simple to set up, and you can generate a ton in a very short amount of time. So guys, if you did enjoy, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And also don't forget to comment down below the question of the day. I would really like to read those. I love reading at night. Pop on the comments and I start to read. I love what you guys have to say. So thank you so very much. And without further ado, it's time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks is going to go out to Carlise5656. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and supporting my content in just one of the best ways possible. Keeping these videos coming. Thank you so much, boss. Appreciate it very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you in the next one. And as always, Thanks for watching.